Welcome back to the channel. My name is Joseph Gutierrez and this is Covered in Compounding. In today's video, I'm excited to share with you a new side of our business for retirement income planning. Since the beginning, we've helped a number of clients on the subject of better preparing themselves for retirement. And in our retirement ready model, we break down the 3 action steps that everyone should take to have a secure and prosperous retirement, no matter how long they live and no matter how tumultuous the market is. Let's take a look. We've broken down retirement income planning into 3 general steps. The triangle best represents the retirement ready model because the base step is the biggest and most important, then the middle, and then lastly the top. If we underplan for any one-sided retirement, it can have cascading financial issues that can negatively affect our ability to retire comfortably. Let's jump into the first step of retirement income planning. Step 1, guaranteed income. We aren't going to get very far if we don't have our income in order. If we're at the doorstep of retirement, or preferably a few years out, getting our income straightened out is imperative. Unfortunately, many Americans take outdated and inefficient advice on the subject. The one that comes to mind first is relying on the 4% withdrawal rate rule from portfolio holdings, meaning while in retirement, we can draw only 4% from our savings from the market, adjusted for inflation, to take as income. This was popularized by the Trendy study years ago and has been mediocre as far as securing retirement income. If you run the market models, you'll find that the 4% rule fails for a number of retirees in their late 80s, meaning that we have a chance of outliving our portfolio balance and going flat out broke. Technically, the rule is supposed to be closer to 3% withdrawal rate, but 4% still shows up in headlines. What's even crazier is that some financial gurus out there are calling for an 8% withdrawal rate on portfolio assets, which, taken to its conclusion, means almost certain financial failure. This is really, really bad advice. Not only that, for many Americans, 4% is really low-level income and frankly irritates a lot of incoming retirees. So if we save up in our 401ks $1 million, you mean to tell me that I can only give myself $40,000 income per year, and even then it still may not work out? So I have to live way underneath my working year's income and then live with a constant worry of the market tanking and sending me to the poorhouse? This is ridiculous if you ask me, but many traditional financial advisors will sit there, smile, and say, yep. This is unnecessary money stress, and we don't have to live with that stress. Luckily, we have options that include offloading risk onto an insurance company through guaranteed income annuities. The income annuity is specifically designed to give the assurance of never running out of money in retirement. We accomplish this through SPIAs, single premium immediate annuities, DIAs, deferred income annuities, and especially FIAs with the income rider, or also known as fixed index annuities with a guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefit. So take your 3 to 4%, maybe hopefully a workout retirement rate, and instead turn into something like a 7 or 8% guaranteed lifetime withdrawal rate for someone in their early 60s. Or preferably, if we set up our annuity now and defer taking income for a couple years, it could be closer to 11 or 17% withdrawal rate guaranteed for life. Obviously, the actual income stream depends on the carrier selection, the premium amount, the age, single or joint payout, etc., which we would investigate during an online consultation. But with our income-based annuities, it doesn't matter what's going on in the market, in the world, or at home, the annuity company will pay out every month for the rest of you, and if joint annuitant, the rest of you and your spouse's lives. It's no wonder that studies show that annuity recipients live longer. We've eliminated a major stress point: income. Next level, health security and legacy. Next time you're playing Monopoly with your family, I want you to grab one of the die and look at it. It's a 6-sided die, 1 through 6. Now I want you to toss it on the game board of life and see what it says. If it rolls a 1, 2, 3, or 4, we have a problem. That roughly coincides with the chances of acquiring a chronic illness. It's actually a bit more than that. Statistically, 70% of retirees will develop a chronic illness. If you've been through it with other family members, you know how hard it is. Family members oftentimes have to put their lives on hold in order to care for someone else. We've seen from experience that the stress that comes from caring for another tends to have a negative effect on the family caregiver just as much as the retiree. I know because I went through this growing up. It's hard on everybody. Not only that, chronic illness expenses can be exorbitant. On average, medical care costs for chronic illnesses can go up 5% a year. Having access to medical care professionals, home health care equipment, etc., can get very expensive very quickly. Think $5,000, $10,000 a month, maybe more, for home health care, custodial care. Without having something in place, retirees can and do drain their assets very quickly, even if they have guaranteed income coming in. The good news is that insurance companies have been able to combine whole life insurance and long term care insurance, aka an LTC, together into one product to satisfy this need. We can leverage asset backed long term care insurance to give us multiples more than what we put into our policy to cover for this hardship. And if we never need the long term care, our beneficiaries get a tax free inheritance check from the whole life contract. We don't have to worry about expensive standalone long term care policies that can go up in price and then lose all that money if we never make a claim. We don't have any dollars wasted with long term care backed by whole life contracts. And a little goes a long way with these modern whole life policies with LTC riders. Most 60-year-olds can get all the LTC coverage they need with a 200 to 300K death benefit whole life policy. One carrier in particular can cover a married couple that pays out long-term care claims indefinitely for each person, never running out of LTC benefits. Qualifying for long-term care payouts is a medical professional affirming the insurer is unable to perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living or a degenerative mental health diagnosis. Once it's been established, the insurance carrier will send out tax-free checks for the long-term care event after a short elimination period. Additionally, it doesn't always have to be full-out long-term care coverage. Almost all these permanent life insurance policies have accelerated death benefits for chronic illness that can act as an emergency source of funds. That chronic illness rider comes free with the policy. It's not quite the same as long-term care, but like we said earlier, a little goes a long way, and it's better to have something than nothing at all, especially offloading the hardship for families. In addition to long-term care, we also help our clients with Medicare plans and positioning them for health care in retirement. Health security and legacy planning, very important. The last level is accumulation. This is the level that most people are aware of because we've been doing it for our whole life. Through our earning years, we've been storing away, investing, and preparing for our upcoming retirement. And for many people, it's kind of hard to allow themselves to take income because they're so accustomed to accumulating, usually through their stock portfolios or what have you. Accumulation is still important, but it's the third level of our retirement ready triangle for a reason. Income protection and sustainability are now more important. Not only that, the accumulation rules change when near or in retirement. Because we may be periodically taking additional income from our portfolio, we have to be vigilant of sequence of returns risk. Meaning if the market takes a nosedive, we could be making it worse for our portfolio if we draw income on a decline. It erodes our portfolio much faster. Now, traditional financial advisors have attempted to mitigate this issue by introducing a hedge. A hedge stabilizes the portfolio from market downturns and volatility. Traditionally, 40% Treasury bond allocation was used as that hedge, and they did okay. If the market tanked, global investors fled to Treasuries, increasing the value of that side of the retiree's portfolio and offsetting the equity decline. This is where that 60-40 split comes from. That hedge worked okay for a while, but always had cracks in it. The yields were always too small, wasn't tax deferred, advisors would nail them with additional fees, and worse yet, bonds are still a risk asset and they can and do lose value. We saw the breakdown take place in 2022 when inflation roared to near 8% and the market took a hit. Equities, for example, the S&P 500 declined by roughly 22%, while retirees' hedge portion of the portfolio, their long bond holdings, declined by roughly 18% in value. And the bond values haven't recovered meaningfully since, and if anything, they're getting worse. The world is changing, and US bonds, although not going anywhere anytime soon, are not the same safe haven asset anymore. This leaves a tremendous hole in many retirees' accounts that portfolio managers and traditional advisors don't have an answer to. The answer lies in what they usually contest the most: annuities. Specifically, MYGAs, aka multi year guaranteed annuities, and FIAs, or the accumulation focused fixed index annuities. MYGAs allow us to get a contractual guaranteed interest rate that compounds tax deferred. In today's numbers, depending on the duration of the MYGA contract, the annual yield is approximately mid 5% range to low 6% range. MYGAs have the unique ability to be the true hedge that we're looking for in today's unpredictable and volatile markets. We don't have any market exposure with MYGAs. Additionally, we can utilize accumulation-focused fixed index annuities. They have an indirect exposure to market upside through total return type indexes or custom volatility controlled excess return indexes. Generally, in today's numbers, we see average annual returns in the 6 to 8% range. But just like all other annuities, we also have downside protection, so if the market tanks, our principal is maintained. And then on a good year, we soak in the gains and accumulate tax deferred. Sometimes we add in an increasing income rider, and sometimes we just keep it without the rider, and the client draws on it on an as-need basis. There are also some cool things FIAs can do for us, like when we're doing Roth conversion. Basically, we can get the annuity company to pay the tax bill through a 15 to 30% premium bonus. So yes, if we roll over, say, $1 million into the annuity company will transfer over an additional $150,000 to roughly $300,000 directly to our account value, effectively paying off the brunt of the tax bill as we do our partial Roth conversions. But we'll talk more about this in future videos. And one last thing about accumulation annuities. Many of our clients will say, hey, I can do a lot better than 6 to 8% in the market. I do 12% average, or I did 18% last year. Our response is, yes, you can. You can also lose a lot too. And that's why a portion needs a hedge. Not only that, you may be falling victim to Wall Street math. Consider a stock portfolio of ETF, mutual funds, etc., that in good years does 12% average annual return, and the fixed index annuity side, let's say we do about 6% a year. Let's assume that we start with $1 million in each case. Now let's say we get 4 good years of annual returns, and on the 5th year we have a 25% market down year correction. Map it out. The annuity's downside protection is huge here for our account value. It's a classic example of the tortoise versus the hare. In volatile markets like the ones we have today, the tortoise oftentimes comes out on top. And remember, we're not talking about replacing, we're talking about hedging. That's the 40% bond allocation. Instead, put 40% with a true hedge like the MYGAs, like FIAs. At the end of the day, retirement is about planning for and adjusting for risk. Income risk, health risk, portfolio risk, longevity risk, sequence returns risk. Fundamentally, risk assets are not good at displacing risk, but insurance companies are. It's actually what they excel at. Use them appropriately and you'll go from retirement anxious to retirement ready. Thank you for watching our video. In today's video, we went over the retirement ready model. We looked at the guaranteed income, health security and legacy, and accumulation, how they all come together for a secure and prosperous retirement. If you are looking to put together your own retirement income plan, we'd love to help. Feel free to click the link in the description. It'll take you to our webpage where you can click a Book Now button for a free online consultation. And during that consultation, we'll go over your financial situation, your goals, your vulnerabilities, and what you'd like to accomplish to minimize your risk and maximize your retirement. Remember, it doesn't make a difference to us if you only do one of the three actionable layers or you do all three. Our job here as insurance advisors and retirement income specialists is to point out the vulnerabilities that we see and place you in the best products with the best carriers to accomplish your goals. Once again, thank you for watching. Be sure to click like and subscribe. Ring the bell for future notifications on our new content, and I look forward to helping you become retirement ready. We'll see you next time.